Part 47. Online games, only I can see hidden information. Author, Minjai Old Thief. Chapter 461. The Ninth Abyss. When the sound of drums resounds throughout the heaven and earth. Yabai and Huotianyi are being chased by hundreds of thousands of demon rats. The tide of beasts chased after them, and the working level demon rats rushed out one after another and were stabbed to death by Huotianyi. After these demon rats die, their bodies will be devoured by the monsters around them. This is also one of the scariest places in the demon tide. People have limits. And the monsters in the demon tide will not only not become weaker, but will even become stronger with each battle. It's a pity that the targets of this demonic wave are not ordinary people. Two generals of over 300 levels dare to challenge a demonic tide of 100,000 levels. Demons generally use two words to describe such people: take away, no, hanging on the wall. In fact, the seemingly embarrassed Yabai has the ability to fight back the demonic tide behind him at any time. If one all things are born is smashed down, the world will be pure. If one is not enough, throw another one. Huo Tian shot out like a dragon, cleared away the pursuers behind him, and roared in a low voice. Yeah, what do you want to do? Unlike Huo Tianyi, Yabai, who changed jobs and ran away, was even in the mood to drink cappuccino. Do you know the plan of the Blood Marine Corps? The Blood Marine Corps wants to use their tactics to cooperate with the fifth demon god to open the passage between the fifth abyss and the ninth abyss. Only a very few people have the authority to know about this matter. Coincidentally, Huo Tianyi's authority was second only to the strongest. The Pajun Legion stationed in the ninth abyss is the Ace Legion under King Huo Tian, the direct lineage of the lineage. When Po Jun was at his strongest, he even dared to compete with the strongest army. Naturally, what the Blood Marine Corps wants to do cannot be hidden from Huo Tianyi. Yabai sighed and said helplessly. They want to use their tactics to conceal the truth, so we will muddy the waters and fish in troubled waters. Being chased by a demonic tide is not a big deal. Currently, the number of demons chasing the two of them is only over 100,000, and the strongest demon is only the peak war king, not even the god of war. As long as the two of them make enough noise to attract more monsters and demon war gods, they can always create opportunities for the Blood Marine Corps to take action. This truth is not difficult. Huo Tianyi can figure it out in his head. Wait, that's not right. Huo Tianyi suddenly looked at Yabai with suspicion on his face. This plan looks fine, but there's something wrong. Why did you put yourself in danger? Tell me, who are you? Yabai. There's a fart danger. Yabai was very disdainful. Do I have to tell you that I am carrying a desolate tribulation killer weapon? Before taking action, Yabai had already planned an absolutely safe route with his eyes. The ninth demon god is not strong. According to the information Yabai has, he should only be at level 996. 996? Die to me. This time Yabai came to the ninth abyss. The task given by his third brother was to deal with a suspected level 999 demon ancestor. The ninth demon god doesn't really feel oppressive. Moreover, news came from the adjudicator that the most powerful Wuhan was in place. The second brother is here. What else is there to be afraid of? My second brother is invincible in the world. Yabai is so brave. In addition to these, Yabai also has the biggest trump card, the third master who is following him. As the saying goes, distant relatives are not as good as close neighbors. Although the second brother is strong, he is waiting outside the abyss. Ying-san protects him around the clock, providing Yabai with a strong sense of security. Even if the ninth demon god attacks, Ying-san is capable of protecting Yabai. To sum up, there is no danger at all when Yabai and Huo Tianyi make trouble together. It can even be said that the bigger the fuss, the safer Yabai will be. As the two of them fled, more and more monsters were chasing them. The Demon Tide team continues to grow, overwhelming and extremely impressive. Of course, Yebai didn't just run away, but always monitored the demonic tide behind him. Once a god of war monster joins the demonic tide, Yebai will take action to name them. Even if you can't kill the opponent, you still have to find a way to inflict heavy damage on one or two to reduce the pressure on yourself. At the beginning, Huo Tianyi would try to clean up the monsters behind him. Later, he discovered that Shura had been paddling, and immediately joined the bad camp. Isn't it just a quilt under the overpass? Who can't do that? Open up. Huo Tianyi put away his spear and concentrated on running, even speeding up and running in front of Yebai. Yebai casually fired a thunderbolt, seriously injuring a third-level war god, and said dissatisfiedly, "What kind of bodyguard are you?" Huo Tianyi said confidently, "I'm leading the charge." Yebai. The demonic tide behind the two people is still expanding. The Ninth Abyss, the Human Legion garrison base. Report. Report, there are more than 30 war god level monsters, and the first level alarm has been activated. If this development trend continues, it will soon exceed 10 million, and the growth rate has no intention of stopping. Put it on the big screen. Report, there is a million level demonic wave in the southwest of the base. The level 3 alarm has been sounded. 2 people, being chased by millions of monsters, galloping on horseback. What? Yes. The big screen flashed a few times and a picture appeared. The demon tide is like a snowball, getting bigger and bigger. Report, the demon tide has exceeded 2 million. Before the order could be heard from the command room, another battle report came in. The battle report came like snowflakes, and the 3 legion commanders all felt great pressure. Report, the reconnaissance team sent back the latest real-time scene from the front line. If a demonic wave of this level wanted to attack the defense line, it would have been done long ago. If a demonic tide of this magnitude were to rush towards the human defense line, even if the 3 legions could hold on, they would suffer heavy casualties. Report, the number of demons is 1.4 million, and there are 12 war god level monsters. He is the strongest and oldest person present, and he is also Huo Tianwang's favorite disciple. In the Ninth Abyss, there has not been 100 million level demon wave for many years. Find out why there is a demonic tide and what its estimated scale is. Why did the demonic tide come about, and what is its goal? The Legion commander of the Blood Marine Corps had an anxious look on his face and urged. Under the gaze of everyone in the headquarters, they saw a scene they would never forget. Everyone's face was filled with shock and disbelief. Check. Check it out. To the southwest of the base, 3,000 kilometers away, a 100,000 level demonic wave has appeared. We are currently evaluating it. A war king rushed into the command room and said urgently. In front of the 3 legion commanders, the real-time battle situation was displayed in the form of a projection. The commander of the Pajun Corps is an old man with silver hair, as steady as a mountain, with a deep voice. Don't get yourself into trouble. A million-level demon tide, enough to threaten the downfall of the god of war, is running wildly across the land of the Ninth Abyss. They saw. Before the 3 legion commanders had time to be surprised, a new battle report came over. In fact, the dense red dots on the projection not only did not approach the human defense line, but were instead led in other directions. After tens of millions, it will be billions. 3 million. Online games, only I can see hidden information. Author, Minjai Old Thief. Chapter 462. Whose general is this? 2 unidentified people actually caused a tens of millions of demonic waves, which at least have the strength of the god of war. The Ninth Abyss has been messed up like this. Without support, it will be difficult for them to survive being surrounded by the demonic tide. Little King Huo. Someone exclaimed, immediately recognizing the identity of someone on the screen. Everyone immediately moved their eyes to look at the other person traveling with Huo Tian. I saw that man wearing a lone wolf mask on his face, a white robe, and an ancient bronze sword on his waist. A name emerged in everyone's heart at the same time, Shura. Shura and little Huo Tianwang are together. What do they want to do? The commander of the Skyfire Legion frowned slightly. Are you going to send someone to help? Not urgent. The communicator of the commander of the Broken Army received a message. He glanced at it and his expression changed slightly. Little Huo Tianwang asked us to act according to the situation. Play it by ear. The leader of the Skyfire Legion was puzzled. What plan is more important than the safety of the most powerful seed? It must be important to save people. The commander of the Pajun Corps pondered for a moment and then spoke again. The Blood Marine Corps has entered a state of combat readiness. The northeast direction is the weak point to open the passage to the fifth abyss. Etc. The leader of the Skyfire Legion raised his hand to interrupt and said dissatisfiedly. Regardless of the safety of the strongest seeds and continuing to implement an extremely risky plan, this is not playing by chance, this is gambling. If something goes wrong, can you take responsibility? There was silence in the command room, and there was no sound. As the leader of the Skyfire Legion said, when it comes to the most powerful seeds, it is a matter of great importance. Even if you have to make a decision, you shouldn't be so arbitrary. The commander of the Pajun army snorted coldly, pointed at the screen and said. There are two people above, one is my master Huo Tianwang, and the other is Shura, the most powerful seed of our clan. The two of them were neither reckless, stupid, nor arrogant. They knew exactly what they were doing. Since King Xiao Huo asked us to act according to the situation, delaying the opportunity to fight, and wasting the opportunities they created, then we must take responsibility. The gaze of the commander of the Pajun army was like a knife, piercing people's hearts. To put it bluntly, my master often said in the past, if someone doesn't die in a war, who can't die? On the battlefield, no one is absolutely safe. As powerful as Xueju, he eventually died in the abyss of the strongest. Also, you are too young and made a mistake. The commander of the Broken Army stood up, walked to the commander of the Skyfire Army, straightened his collar, and curled up the corner of his mouth. It's not us who are protecting the strongest, but the strongest who is protecting us. This has been like this since 100 years ago. In the view of the commander of the Pajun Corps, even the most powerful ones who have not fully grown up are far beyond their ability to understand. The most powerful ones are born to create miracles. During the time when the nightmare appeared in the world, the commander of the Broken Army was not yet born and could not appreciate the elegance of the most powerful person. He caught up with the era of Wuhan and was convinced by the swordsman. Why should we care about a mere demonic tide? Even with what he said before, the leader of the Skyfire Army still didn't agree with it. Even the leader of the Blood Navy, who has always been radical, feels that he can slow down for a while and wait until the situation becomes clearer before taking action. Not to be missed. The commander of the Pajun Corps looked around and knew that he had to come up with something to convince everyone. Rumors say that Shura, the most powerful seed, defeated a 9th-level war god head-on in the previous competition. Hiss. Everyone gasped. The most powerful seed is so terrifying. This kid will never die. The strict leader of the Skyfire Legion raised objections for the last time. Could it be Su Qingfeng who was defeated by Shura? If this is the case, the gold content will be greatly reduced. Everyone looked at the commander of the Broken Army again, waiting for his answer. Probably not. The commander of the Pajun Corps rubbed his chin and analyzed carefully. Su Qingfeng sold this gossip to me. If he had lost, he wouldn't have made such a big fuss. That makes sense. Soon, after unified opinions, orders came from the command room one after another. Skyfire Legion, enter level 1 combat readiness. The Broken Army Corps has entered the first level of combat readiness. The Blood Marine Regiment moved toward the northeast. The reconnaissance team is dispatched, the first round of fire coverage. At the same time, the two people who were being chased by the demonic tide felt the pressure for the first time. Boom! Huo Tian pierced an enemy with his spear, and a bullet burst out, causing an explosion to the monster behind. Out of bullets. Huo Tianyi roared. Change the magazine. Ye Bai, who was busy roasting monsters with all kinds of food, immediately reported the price. SSS level bullets, family price 10,500 rounds of God of War merit. SS level bullets. With that said, Ye Bai threw out a storage ring, which contained tens of thousands of SSS level bullets. According to common sense, there was no way the storage ring could be delivered to Huo Tianyi in a chaotic battle. A war god level monster rushed up and was about to destroy the storage ring. In the shadows, a big hand with a bone bell stretched out and slapped the war god level monster to death. This storage ring fell into Huo Tianyi's hands smoothly. Once the encirclement is formed, the two people trapped in the middle will face endless monsters. The demons currently chasing Ye Bai are all wild demons with low combat power. The real elite have not yet been dispatched and are still observing in secret. Cain, Dracula, and the Poseidon puppet appeared beside Ye Bai at the same time to protect him. Go to hell. These monsters didn't just follow the two of them stupidly, but surrounded them from all directions. Large spell lightning thunderstorm. A golden ocean instantly enveloped a radius of 20 miles. Press the R key to reload. What's the next step? Looking back at the overwhelming and densely packed monsters, Xianyan gave a piece of data. The moment everyone stopped, a circle of demonic waves was formed. Countless monsters came from all directions to tear everyone into pieces. Even if Ye Bai's thunderbolt can cause thousands of casualties in the demonic tide, it is only a drop in the ocean. Boom. That's almost enough. Don't panic, it's not a big problem. Azuracy. Huo Tianyi, holding a spear, reluctantly made up the last position. Within the coverage area of Shuracy, cause high lightning damage to the enemy. If we cause enough trouble here, the success rate of our operation over there will be higher. At the critical moment of life and death, don't forget to make money and show your true qualities as Shura. Even if Huo Tianyi can hold on with 9 deaths without regrets. Is it a big enough fuss? With Ye Bai's current strength, it is difficult to guarantee that he will be foolproof in the face of 100 million level demonic tide. In the Shura Sea, no demons survive. In an instant, countless thunder seas flooded the world. Ye Bai used chaos thunder to accurately name the 4 gods of war, severely injuring them one after another. As soon as Huo Tian loaded up the bullets, he didn't forget to curse. Approximately equal to 13.64% of the combat power of the 9th abyss. According to Huo Tianyi's understanding of Ye Bai, this powerful seed especially likes to be foolproof. There are already over 100 million monsters here, how can they get bigger? Ye Bai holds the power of nature and sings in a low voice. The most important thing is that 30 layers of ready-to-go superpositions make the already abundant damage even better. 4.16 million monsters. Ye Bai began to stack up and get ready to go. Behind the two of them, there were already over 10 million monsters following. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Online games, only I can see hidden information. Author, Minjio Old Thief. Chapter 463. Crackling. Under the Thunder Sea, there was a scorched earth, and countless monsters perished. The golden Shura Sea became the sharpest boundary on the battlefield, and the black demonic tide stopped. The terrifying damage caused within a radius of 20 miles would also be a heavy blow to a tens of millions of demonic waves. Even without sanity, they are afraid. Call. Putting away his staff, Yabai let out a long breath and looked at the black coal everywhere. By killing monsters, he rose to level 499 in one go. He can only continue to level up after completing the job change. Level 500. Thinking of this level, Yabai's heart skipped a beat. If he remembered correctly, every time a generation of powerful seeds reaches level 500, a big thing will happen. The abyss of power opens. When this trip to the abyss is over and he returns to the Eternal Tower, it will be time for Yabai to change jobs. Master Ju, are you coming back? Thinking of this, Yabai was still a little excited. Don't bully Shura into being poor. At level 30, I was obedient and whatever God of War Lord 9 said. After reaching level 500, I struck hard and Xiaoyingju stood still. It's floating. Huo Tianyi sneered from the side, obviously seeing through Yabai's thoughts. Stop thinking about the abyss of power and look at the demonic tide in front of you. Yabai put away his distracting thoughts and looked at the demonic tide ahead, his expression slightly changed. The demon tide that was blocked outside the Shura Sea did not take a step beyond the thunder pool. But their strength is growing at an extremely terrifying speed. The corpses of the monsters killed by Yabai fell on the abyss and became nourishment for the monsters, making them grow stronger. Now you know where the most difficult part of the abyss is. Huo Tianyi stepped on a piece of black coal on the ground and smashed it into pieces. There is no way to completely win if we fight here. The abyss is the kingdom of the demon god and was once part of the Eternal Tower. And these warcraft, just like the monsters in the Eternal Tower, can be refreshed forever. Even if Yabai can instantly kill the monsters within a radius of 20 miles at a time, as long as the abyss is given time, the monsters will be refreshed again. To the ninth demon god, these monsters are just like consumables, and they don't care about them at all. If the tens of millions of demonic waves can replace any one of Huo Tianyi and Shura, it will be a bloody gain. Yabai's face turned slightly solemn, he concentrated and looked forward. Searching for ways to weaken the demonic tide? If it is the third awakening of the Eye of Insight, the results should be available soon. Purifying the core of the abyss can permanently weaken the ninth abyss and rule it forever. Abyss core? Yabai glanced at the introduction of Insight Eye and asked casually. Xiao Huo, how much do you know about the core of the abyss? I don't know much about it. The old guy has probably broken hundreds of them. Huo Tianyi said disdainfully. The most troublesome part of the core of the abyss is that it is extremely concealed and has a powerful demon war god guarding it. Hidden? Why can't I understand it? In front of Yabai's eyes, a new prompt popped up. We are planning the nearest route for you. 150 kilometers forward at 3 o'clock. The Eye of Insight will continue to guide you. Brush. The golden ocean disappeared from the place, and Yabai led Huo Tianyi to kill towards the core of the abyss. The tide of warcraft starts again. However, this time, the beast tide's actions have changed significantly. From above the entire battlefield, overlooked the overall situation. Most of the monsters were still chasing after Shura and Huo Tianyi, overwhelming the sky and the ground with a huge momentum. A small group of monsters turned around and headed straight for the human legion base. Even if it's just a handful, there are hundreds of thousands. By the time they arrive at the legion base, the number will definitely exceed 1 million at the speed of snowballing. The change in the demonic tide immediately attracted the attention of the reconnaissance team, and the information was immediately passed back. Soon, an alarm reached everyone. All operational units of the Ninth Abyss human race in the field should abandon all missions and return to the garrison base immediately. The Ninth Abyss. 300 kilometers outside the base. Wang Zheng and others had just killed the seriously injured War King level monster and had not yet had time to harvest the spoils. Suddenly, the communicators on their wrists lit up red at the same time. Level 1 alert. While everyone was shocked, they started talking about it. What happened? Hurry up and collect the materials, hurry up. What time is it? Just go back to the base. You don't want materials worth millions of gold coins just because you don't want them. This is 300 kilometers away from the base, should everything be fine. There were even many working level monsters that were trampled to death in the demonic tide. Before several people could reach an agreement, a black shadow passed across the sky, and a huge shadow held several people in the palm of their hands and swept away. In the blink of an eye, they had rushed 300 kilometers away from the base. The working level monster that was killed by the genius team was not worth mentioning in this terrifying wave of demons. With his back against the defense line and facing millions of demonic waves, Lu Qingjian raised his head slightly and replied word by word. You ask me, I'm not a monster, how do you know? What happened? Only Wang Zheng remained calm in the face of danger and spoke again, asking in a deep voice. After hearing Lu Qingjian's reply, everyone felt heavy. The overwhelming and endless tide of beasts is rushing towards the human race's defense line at an extremely fast speed. Lu Qingjian snorted coldly. According to Lu Qingjian's statement, several people looked back and almost lost half their lives in fear. Lu Qingjian's figure was flying rapidly in the air, constantly looking for lone students and preparing to bring them back to the base. The era of supreme strength will not only bring glory and hope to mankind, but also bring war. Several people recognized each other's identity, and the various scrolls in their hands slowed down. The inexplicable demonic tide exceeds 1 million levels, and its scale shows no sign of shrinking. Just now, if Lu Qingjian had arrived half a minute later, these hesitant genius team would have been wiped out immediately. Feeling the gloom in everyone's hearts, Lu Qingjian grinned. They are here to die. What are they here for? How come? Many people were shocked beyond measure by this sudden scene. King Luzhan, where did this demonic tide come from? Lu Qingjian casually threw dozens of students into the defense line, and his whole body was ignited with green flames. The aura of the Peak Battle King was extremely powerful, and it was engraved in the hearts of every student. Lu Qingjian rescued another group of students, but couldn't find his granddaughter and the little fox, and he felt a little irritated. Wang Zheng followed Lu Qingjian's words and asked. King Luzhan, what's going on? Wang Zheng, who was still in shock, asked in a low voice. Don't resist, it's King Lu of the Sky-Fire Legion. You will know it when you look back. You might as well ask what they are here for. In the nearly 30 years of human history, this kind of thing has been close to extinction. For a time, the temporary team was in a quarrel without a backbone and could not make up its mind. They have never seen this scene before. Online games, only I can see hidden information. Author, Minjai Old Thief. Chapter 464. The Ninth Abyss. Countless monsters flocked to the human base. Before they could get close, all kinds of heavy firepower deployed on the defense line had been warmed up and the first round of strikes began. Dozens of rays of fire fell from the sky and exploded in the tide of beasts, sending countless monsters flying in the shock wave. Broken arms and limbs flew across the field, and screams filled the field. Just the first wave of offensive caused heavy damage to the pioneer beast tide. Under this terrifying density, there is no need to aim at all, and you can hit tens of thousands of casualties with your eyes closed. The demon tide's offensive was slightly alleviated, but that was all. As long as the core of the abyss is not purified, no matter how many casualties the human race causes to the demonic tide, it will be in vain. After several volleys, the heavy firepower devices on the defense line spewed out countless white mist, and the demon tide's offensive also temporarily stopped. Both sides are intensively preparing for the next round of confrontation. At the same time, everyone in the base has received new tasks, including the students in the summer camp. As soon as Wang Zheng and others were rescued by Lu Qingjian, an instructor immediately came forward to inform them of the current situation. 5 minutes ago, the demonic tide went berserk. According to the data returned by the detector, this demonic tide is located at the level of 1 million. 4 minutes and 20 seconds ago, the ninth abyss was cut off from the outside world. It is now impossible to return to Blue Star. All students will join the Legion on the spot to assist in the defense. Yes. Under the guidance of the instructor, Wang Zheng, and others followed the regulations and first handed over the strategic materials they carried. In a state of first-level combat readiness, any strategic materials need to be managed in an overall manner to maximize the utilization of resources. Of course, these materials handed over are not given in vain. After the special event is over, unused supplies will be returned to their original owners. If it is consumed, compensation will be based on 1.5 times the average transaction price of Wanwu Pavilion in the past period. The quartermaster responsible for registering supplies took inventory and said, Wang Zheng, 30 kilograms of S-level ore, 150 kilograms of A-level ore, 12 working level scrolls. All items are worth 8.6 million gold coins. This is the voucher. Keep it. After handing over the strategic materials, Wang Zheng immediately received the mission. Within half an hour, escort 3,000 kilograms of B-grade ore to the first line of defense, grid coordinates, 62.45. Quick. Taking the storage ring, Wang Zheng ran wildly according to the map. In less than a quarter of an hour, he arrived at the target. For newcomers like them, their initial tasks were all this kind of errand work, in order to allow them to adapt to the battlefield atmosphere faster and not get too nervous. Wang Zheng didn't expect that he would meet an acquaintance, senior sister Zhou Lingwei. Zhou Lingmao had just repaired a high-power mechanical cannon. Every time the cannon was fired, Lian Zhanwang had to avoid the edge for a while. The only drawback is that this thing costs too much ore. Zhou's spirit machine jumped down from the high platform and counted the supplies sent by Wang Zheng. There was a hint of worry between her eyebrows that lingered. Too little. The ore sent was unable to sustain even 3 volleys. Based on Zhou's spiritual equipment's understanding of the ore in stock, it would be enough to deal with a million-level demonic tide. With tens of millions of demonic waves, the battle line is a bit tight. If the scale of the demon tide reaches a higher level, the ore inventory in the base will not be enough. The human race has been fighting against the abyss for hundreds of years, and has accumulated countless experiences on the battlefield of the abyss. The most important one. Facing a large-scale demonic tide, maintaining superior firepower suppression is the best way to reduce casualties. Fire suppression can come from the King of War, the God of War, or from various powerful scrolls. Among them, the most effective and efficient ones are the various heavy firepower mechanical devices made by mechanics. As long as enough ores are provided, even one warrior can easily eliminate hundreds of warrior kings. Zhou Lingji mentally calculated. According to the current situation, the ore is only enough for less than 2 days. If the ore from outside can't be transported in, it's all over. After delivering the ore, Wang Zheng said hello and was about to leave. Senior Zhou, if there's nothing else, I'll go back first. Wait a moment. Zhou's spirit machine asked. Where are Lu Sueki and Ye Bibai, are they with you? After the first level alarm was raised, she began to contact Lu Sueki, but received no response. Wang Zheng shook his head and looked at the monsters that stretched hundreds of kilometers outside the defense line. Ye Bai, Lu Sueki, could they still be outside the base? Leaving aside the base defense line. The demon tide behind Ye Bai and Huo Tianyi seemed to have slowed down their pursuit. The communicator turned on, and Huo Tianyi's expression changed slightly. Boy, the demonic tide is heading towards the garrison base. Sooner or later, it is expected. Ye Bai was not surprised. The two of them were like loaches. No matter how large or small the number of demonic waves was, they could not catch them. Even if you are surrounded, you can still escape successfully by using various means. As long as the top demon clan god of war, the ninth demon god and other powerful people don't take action, the current demon tide can't do anything to the two of them. The leader behind the demonic tide is not a fool. You can run away from the monk, but you can't run away from the temple. While holding Shura and Huo Tianyi back, the demonic tide was free to attack the human defense line. No matter where the harvest is taken, the demons will earn it with blood. It's just the difference between a small win and a big win. Huo Tianyi had no time to argue with Ye Bai and spoke again. The front line is tight. How much ore do you have with you? I'll buy it at 3 times the price of Wanwu Pavilion. Good. Ye Bai nodded immediately, took out 100 kilograms of grade ore and handed it to Huo Tianyi. Make a deal. Huo Tianyi. Don't you have a mysterious mine? This is all you have with you. Huo Tian became anxious. He thought Ye Bai could conjure thousands of tons of ore with his bare hands. That's it? Ye Bai was also very confident and retorted. I have a mine at home, can't I just bring money with me when I go out? Hiss. Indeed, I have never seen any coal boss go shopping with a cart of coal. Money is enough in a sack. After selling 100 kilograms of ore to Huo Tianyi at 3 times the price, Ye Bai began to move boxes of ore out from the exclusive space. The worst quality ones are all grade A ores. The heaviest box of SS grade ore weighs more than 1,000 tons. Etc. Huo Tian was confused. Where did these mines come from? It's in my exclusive space. Is there any problem? Ye Bai was very surprised. Why did Huo Tianyi act like a fool today? Depressed. Huo Tianyi's face was dull and he almost blurted out. Can your exclusive space be opened in the abyss plane? Fortunately, he swallowed it back. Generally speaking, in the abyss plane, you cannot use the exclusive space. It would be reasonable if that person could do such a thing in Shura's exclusive space. In Ye Bai's opinion, he just did a very ordinary thing. There are 32,000 tons of ore here. They were originally planning to build armor for me. During this special period, let's make do with it first. 32,000 tons of ultra-high quality ore, placed on the front line, is enough to support firepower coverage without blind spots for more than half a month. In Ye Bai's mouth, it's just okay. The ore was put into the storage ring, and Ye Bai threw the storage ring to Huo Tianyi. You go and take the mine back. Originally, Ye Bai was going to ask Third Master Ying to help deliver the express. But considering his own safety, even if Third Master Ying leaves for a short time, Ye Bai's sense of security will plummet. Huo Tianyi can only be tired again. The labor force of prostitutes is in vain if it is not used. After accepting the storage ring, Huo Tianyi changed direction without any nonsense, preparing to take the demonic tide in a circle and return to the defense line. Before leaving, he glanced at Ye Bai and left an inexplicable sentence. If you are about to die, hiding in a special space can save your life. Ye Bai. Before Ye Bai could reply, Huo Tianyi had already parted ways with him. Ye Bai, who was running away, was thoughtful. Third Master, did Huo Tianyi scold me just now? Online games, only I can see hidden information. Author, Minjai Old Thief. Chapter 465. Just leave after scolding? Good for you. Ye Bai didn't think much about Huo Tianyi. The 100 kilogram piece of mine sold to Huo Tianyi was sold for 3 times the price. Make money with blood. As for the batch that was given to Huo Tianyi later, Ye Bai didn't even count the specific quality, but only weighed it roughly. If we really want to settle accounts, we can wait until we win. If you lose the fight, you will lose your face, your life, and there is no point asking for money. Before entering the abyss, Ye Bai arranged for Gu Jin to speed up the production of ore. The mysterious mine was in full swing, and even several drilling rigs were scrapped one after another. You know, according to the factory configuration of these drilling rigs, there will be no problem in normal use for 5-10 years. Under Yebai's command, squeeze, he didn't even last 3 months. Now in the exclusive space, no matter what type of work they were originally, they are now arranged in the mysterious mine. No one is idle except Master Fool. Even Gujin, who has small arms and legs, ran to the front line after arranging the production process and scheduling. Goblins have a magical talent for mechanical equipment, and they can easily master it at a glance. With a lot of blessings, the output of ore will naturally increase. The ore Huo Tianyi took away was enough to last for a while until the next supply. Before entering the ninth abyss, Yebai had anticipated various situations. Right now, wandering alone in the ninth abyss, trying to sneak into the core of the abyss was also part of Yebai's plan. Since his identity is too special, it is better to act alone. After Huo Tian left, the demonic tide was diverted, and Yebai's pressure suddenly became much lighter. In addition, Yebai stopped from time to time and used a lightning storm in his left hand and a spark in his right hand, which caused a lot of damage to the demonic tide. Slowly, the situation turned to Yebai's side, and he led a group of monsters for a walk. Certainly, the calmed down situation did not make Yebai relax his vigilance. He knew very well that everything he had experienced so far was just an appetizer. Yebai still doesn't know what the devil behind the scenes wants to do. The ninth demon god, the fifth demon god, the mysterious and powerful man from the abyss of power. In the chess game, if you want to become a chess piece, the threshold is level 995. Those who really play chess are higher and stronger beings. On one side is the strongest man of the human race. On the surface, the second brother is waiting outside the ninth abyss. Secretly, the most powerful person in the current generation of the human race is free and mysterious to the extreme. Basically no one knows what he wants to do. On the other side, there is the most powerful demon god who is ready to move. When gods fight, Shura suffers. Yebai sighed, speeded up again, and rushed towards the core of the abyss. Soon, Yebai brought tens of millions of demons to the outside of a certain lair and dived in. Following the prompts from the Eye of Insight, Yebai ran rampant in the lair, successfully breaking through from the weakest defense to the core area. But that's it for now. The core of the abyss is a very important center of the abyss. The ninth abyss has a total of 12 abyss cores. The abyss core in front is the weakest one. After being crushed, it can weaken the ninth abyss monster's combat power by 0.73%. There is no other way, the persimmon needs to be pinched softly. 0.73, just 0.73. Yebai cheered up and thought about how to crush the core of the abyss. Thanks to the underground lair, the demonic tide behind Yebai did not catch up immediately. However, there is no way to delay it for too long. If Yebai disappears for too long, the demon tide that loses its target will immediately change its target and actively attack the human defense line. Yebai must get rid of the core of the abyss as soon as possible, and then continue to play parkour with the magic tide. But the problem is, near the core of the abyss, there are 2 9th-level war gods from the demon clan guarding it. This is the weakest core of the abyss. It is precisely for this reason that only 2 9th-level war gods were arranged to guard it. Each of these 2 monsters is much more powerful than Su Qingfeng. Even if it was a secret attack, Yebai was not sure of victory. As for frontal toughness, let alone that. Cain and Dracula together were no match for the enemy. This is no longer an ordinary monster, it must be attacked hard. Yebai still has a trump card that is useless, Ying San. As long as Ying San attacks, everything will be fine. Hidden in the dark, Yebai asked in a low voice. Third Master, can you help me kill 2 demons for free? I'm responsible for protecting you. Ying San shook his head and said honestly. According to the rules of Shadow, I cannot take the initiative to kill demons. Among the shadows, only Yingju has flexible rules. After all, to a certain extent, Yingju's words are shadows' rules. Therefore, he was not surprised when Ying San rejected Ye Bai with the excuse of shadows' rules. Ye Bai was already prepared. Keep your feet for pickled sauerkraut. Fuck. Fix it? A weak human race suddenly appeared in front of them, and it was difficult for the devil not to think about it. Am I right? Someone is coming. Countless demonic energy rose from the solace of Ye Bai's feet. The moment he appeared, the two demon war gods planned to kill him. Third Master, please. The two demon war gods did not take action immediately, but took 2 steps back and kept a distance from the human race in front of them. Boom. Ye Bai, who was targeted by the attack and was about to die, took his time and even made a gesture of invitation. Ye Bai walked out of the corner openly and appeared in front of the 2 9th-level war gods. Ye Bai gave a thumbs up. For a moment, the expressions of the two monsters became ferocious. The rules in the shadow: when faced with a life or death crisis, the shadow can take action to actively protect the target. With 2 crisp sounds, the heads of the 2 demon war gods exploded like ripe watermelons. The 2 demon war gods looked a little confused. This name sounds so familiar. Have you heard it somewhere? Just as the 2 demon war gods were about to take action, Ye Bai coughed twice. They want to kill Shura. They quickly contacted the outside world and learned about the current situation. What happened outside? The boss joined the human race. Third Master, be steady. The Third Master wants to protect Shura, the most powerful seed. Boom. In the eyes of the 9th-level war god of the demon clan, the human race is a scourge, which is too scary. Kill him and get an extra meal. The previous conversation was just delaying time. After learning that the other party was Shura, the 2 demons even did not hesitate to burn their origins to give Shura a fatal blow. Hero, spare your life. Maybe the 9th abyss is dead. Boy, please introduce yourselves. My surname is Xiu and my name is Shura. Kill him and become a demon god, just around the corner. Putting away the bloodshot and hot bone stick, Ying San didn't say anything and silently returned to the shadows. Shura. These 2 demon war gods already knew that he was Shura. I checked the life-saving means, especially Wan Tianqing, and made sure they were ready for use at any time. So. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Online games, only I can see hidden information. Author, Minjai Old Thief. Chapter 466. After getting rid of the 2 guards, Ye Bai encountered a new trouble. How to purify the core of the abyss. Necessary conditions for purifying the core of the abyss: a 9th-level human war god. Hiss. The threshold alone blocked Ye Bai from outside. He is only level 499 now, not even a war king, let alone a 9th-level war god. Can we only want the human war god? Ye Bai frowned slightly, a little confused. Other races who purify the core of the abyss will be polluted and assimilated by it. According to the introduction of the Eye of Insight, once contaminated by the core of the abyss, one will become a candidate for the 9th demon god. If the current 9th demon god dies, these candidates will be favored by the source of the 9th abyss, and their strength will increase rapidly, from which a new 9th demon god will be born. Ye Bai can ask Dracula and Cain to help purify the core of the abyss. The price, maybe one more 9th demon god's younger brother? Sounds like pretty good. Cain might say no, but Dracula wants it. Putting aside the solution, Ye Bai doesn't want to have anything to do with the abyss just yet unless he has to. As for the core of the abyss, Ye Bai cannot be placed in an exclusive space, let alone appear in front of the Fool Master. For the demons, the abyss core is a great tonic. If a demon appears in his own exclusive space, the joke will be big. Third Master, is not a good choice either. It's not that Ye Bai can't trust Third Master. However, Ye Bai couldn't persuade the Third Master to help. Ying San also looked down upon this level of abyssal core. After thinking about it, Ye Bai still had one solution left. I can only shake people. Ye Bai first wrapped the core of the abyss with the Shura Sea, then quickly left the underground layer, returned to the surface, and continued to walk with the magic tide. While walking, Ye Bai took out his communicator, briefly explained the situation, and began to shake people. Regarding the conditions for shaking people, Ye Bai made it very clear. Call Xuemeng. If Xuemeng is not here, send a weak 9th level war god. Human defense line. Countless heavy firepower machines were roaring, and fires fell one after another, causing tons of damage to the demonic tide. Previously, the firepower on the front line was still suppressed to save ore. When a young man in black came back, everyone received the order almost at the same time. Damn it! The B-grade ores that were regarded as treasures in the past are now bombarding the demonic tide outside the defense line as if they are free of charge. Several waves of demons were dispersed by this terrifying firepower and fled in all directions. Huo Tian had a new mission before he even had time to drink hot water. Shura is in trouble. The commander of Pa Jun Corps stood behind Huo Tianyi and reported. He needs a 9th level war god to help purify the core of the abyss. Huo Tianyi frowned. Where is the candidate? Master, you also know that this person is not easy to choose. The commander of the Pa Jun Corps whispered. The 9th level war god who goes there shouldn't be too strong, after all, he has to be in direct contact with Shura. If the wrong person is sent, Shura's life will be in danger. Huo Tianyi naturally understood this. The current Shura has not yet reached level 500. If a top 9th level war god comes into contact with Shura in reality, there will be all kinds of unexpected troubles. It's not entirely a trust issue. There is another factor to consider. Anything that is close to the strongest will inevitably cause disaster. Those who are close to Shura should have a tougher life. Otherwise, it is easy to die or cause other troubles. There is precedent for this. There used to be a 9th level war god who followed Wuhan. He could hear the whispers of the most powerful demon god and instigated him to betray the human race, almost causing a catastrophe. As powerful as Wuhan, he cannot avoid the influence of the strongest demon on those around him. Not to mention Shura. Under normal circumstances, Xuemeng is the best candidate. He has no shortage of strength, background, and toughness. As the adopted son of the strongest, he has extremely rich experience in getting along with the strongest. Unfortunately, Xuemeng is not in the 9th abyss. Taking all factors into consideration, we finally selected this one. The commander of the Broken Army said a name. We believe that as long as he is with Shura, he is absolutely safe. Is this guy also in the 9th abyss? Huo Tianyi sneered a few times, feeling that things were getting more interesting. Send a message to Shura and agree on the meeting area. Without further ado, let's set off now. After receiving the message from the defense line, Ye Bai felt a little more at ease. Looking back at the overwhelming demonic tide, the two sides kept a safe distance and walked in the abyss. Ye Bai even tried to rush towards the demonic tide, but the opponent even retreated. Obviously, the mastermind behind the demon tide had his own ideas and was not in a hurry to kill Ye Bai. In this way, Ye Bai didn't even think about hitting the other party and concentrated on his way. Third Master. Ye Bai looked down at his own shadow and whispered. I don't know why, but after entering the 9th abyss, I have been feeling panicked. Chatting and diverting attention can relieve psychological stress. When you are flustered, people always talk a little more. Ying San nodded and said honestly. Ye Bai nodded slowly. This was something Ju could do. Ying San shook his head again. Ye Bai. Ye Bai. Frustration, how does it feel? That's how I felt when I first met Master Ju. After a moment of silence, Ying San felt that this topic could be discussed. That's not panic, it's awe. Ye Bai organized his words again. Like the feeling when facing third brother. What did the third master do before that he could watch Ying Ju kill the demon god? According to what Ying San said before, he is only one step away from level 1000. That year, I was sleeping at home. By the way, third master, how did you join the shadows in the first place? Ying San recalled Master Ju's original words. What he says is usually the truth. Have. Master Ju wielded a 40-meter long sword, and while slashing the devil, he asked me if I wanted to join the shadow. We love each other and we are a family. If the sky falls, I will be able to hold it up. It has a sense of picture. Ying San shook his head. It's like that, feeling of being stared at by a powerful being, like a light on your back. Have you ever had it? It was precisely because of this that he was particularly in awe of that Taoist. Ye Bai tried to give an example to let the third master understand what panic means. This opening statement is very informative. Ying San scratched his head and asked curiously. Master Ju was chasing a demon god and woke me up. Ying San described it in the simplest and most unpretentious language. Ye Bai asked back, Third master, have you ever panicked? Unlike the historical inventor Ju Ye, Ying San is an honest man. Everyone knows who Shura's third brother is. Since this topic was brought up, Ye Bai, who was full of curiosity, didn't mind learning more about history. Online games, only I can see hidden information. Author, Minjai Old Thief. Chapter 467. The Ninth Abyss. Ye Bai and Ying San didn't go shopping for too long. The demon tide behind him remained at the scale of tens of millions and did not continue to increase. Soon, a breeze blew by. Old Su. Seeing Su Qingfeng and Huo Tian appear, Ye Bai's eyes lit up. Do you want the core of the abyss or not? Su Qingfeng? Isn't his mission this time to help Shuro purify the core of the abyss? Why do you have to pay for the abyss core on the battlefield? Now Su Qingfeng is so poor that even the dark history of his own defeat has been packaged into multiple copies and sold to the outside world. Seeing Su Qingfeng's doubts, Ye Bai smiled kindly and said. Listen to me and explain slowly. Huo Tianyi looked at Shuro with contempt. Fool, you keep fooling. Anyway, no matter how big the feast is, Huo Tianyi doesn't care how much Su Qingfeng's wool falls off. The basic version of the purified abyss core is, of course, free. Ye Bai is like an unscrupulous web game, promoting. But the advanced version of purification can improve your own strength by purifying the core of the abyss. The deluxe version of purification can even help you level up. Under normal circumstances, it is naturally extremely difficult to do this. But Ye Bai possesses the eye of insight and can utilize the core of the abyss with maximum efficiency. Through SSS level talents, we can reduce the dimensionality of SS level talents, improve purification methods, open up new tracks, lead new trends, master the 9th level God of War upgrade combination boxing, quantify the proportion of strength improvement, open up the upgrade channel, and empower the abyss core. Yes, a new gripper for pulling wool. In a simple sentence, use salary to create strength. No matter how powerful you are still true. Hiss. Su Qingfeng took a breath of cold air and felt his scalp numb. Oops. It's a heart-pounding feeling. A person's name, the shadow of a tree. In the first half of Lao Su's life, he was young and proud, full of glory. He was once a talented boy and the pride of his family. It wasn't until the day when Su Qingfeng advanced to the 9th level God of War that the nightmare came quietly. The 9th level war gods were surprised to find this old Su is just a scumbag. Since then, Su Qingfeng has been carrying the name of the 9th level God of War for many years. In order to become stronger, Su Qingfeng was willing to sell his second uncle. Su Qingfeng stared at Ye Bai, his voice trembling slightly. Make a price. Readily. Ye Bai gave a friendship price. I will teach you a set of purification methods. When you successfully purify the abyss core, you will be able to upgrade it to at least one level. As for the price, there is a sale here, I mean a legal labor contract, you sign it. Good guy, Huo Tian keeps calling him good guy. Su Qingfeng hasn't come yet, but Ye Bai has even prepared the deed of betrayal? Is it because the other party will jump into the pit if you know it correctly? Su Qingfeng glanced at it and found that the contract was quite reasonable. The after-tax income for the next 10 years will be transferred to Shura through the Pavilion of All Things. The contract will be automatically voided if one of the following conditions is met. 1. Accumulated transfer of 50,000 God of War merits. 2. Complete 50,000 God of War merits at one time. 3. Save Shura's life. In other words, Su Qingfeng spent 50,000 God of War merits to upgrade himself to one level. The more of this good thing, the merrier. After reading all the contracts carefully, especially the one guaranteed by Wanwu Pavilion, Su Qingfeng felt a lot more at ease. I sign. Brush. As expected of a 9th level God of War, he signed the contract of sale with such ease. After keeping the contract and following the instructions from the Eye of Insight, Ye Bai began to teach Su Qingfeng how to purify the core of the abyss and turn it into his own strength. While teaching Su Qingfeng, Ye Bai also had a doubt in his heart. Why does it have to be the human race? Other races, once they encounter the core of the abyss, have no way to purify it. Only the human race's God of War will not be demonized or polluted, and can even use this to improve his strength. I know. Eye of Insight, request to fight? Because only the strongest human race has not been contaminated by the abyss. Ye Bai raised his eyebrows and his eyes froze. This short sentence contains a huge amount of information. Only the strongest human race has not been contaminated by the abyss. In other words, the strong men of other races have been contaminated by the abyss. Ye Bai had long heard that in the abyss of power, in addition to the powerful demon god, there were many powerful people. Ye Bai became more and more curious about what happened back then. It's done. Su Qingfeng exclaimed, the small whirlwind in his palm was swirling the core of the abyss, purifying it little by little. The originally dark core of the abyss was now coated with a layer of cyan. Ye Bai quickly cast a curious look. Current purification progress, 0.01%. Estimated purification time, 560 days and 14 hours. Ye Bai. As expected of you, Lao Su. The worst abyss core in the 9th abyss, you have to purify it for 2 years. Good for you. The core of the abyss fell into the hands of Su Qingfeng, and the initial goal of this trip has been achieved. By purifying the core of the abyss and weakening the 9th abyss bit by bit, although the demonic tide can be restored, the rate of recovery will also slow down. Judging from the situation alone, the most dangerous moment for the human race's defense line has passed. According to Ye Bai's plan, he must follow the same method, step by step, become bigger and stronger, and create greater glory. However, Ye Bai took a look at Su Qingfeng and felt that things were not simple. Although Lao Su is a 9th level god of war. However, there are not many 9th level war gods from the human race. Even if Su Qingfeng was used as an 8th level war god, he wouldn't be thrown into the 9th abyss. Moreover, Su Qingfeng is the deputy commander of the Nightmare Legion. He appears here, which means the Nightmare Army. Are you playing big chess again? Ye Bai couldn't help but rolled his eyes. Even if the human race doesn't have Master Ju, they still have a lot of old coins. As one of the strongest combat forces of the human race, the Nightmare Legion secretly sneaked into the 9th abyss, launched attacks at critical moments, and caught the demons by surprise. This script sounds so wonderful. At the same time, Su Qingfeng felt a palpitation in his heart as he looked at the demonic tide that was about to move behind him. If these monsters went crazy at this time and came all over, with Su Qingfeng's strength, they would definitely die. He was also curious as to why the scene was so harmonious, with these monsters just following behind instead of rushing up to fight. Just when Su Qingfeng was curious, the demonic tide automatically split into two, and out came a being whose aura far surpassed that of Su Qingfeng. The 9th level war god from the demon clan said solemnly, "I heard that the most powerful seed of the human race, Shura, is here. My master invites Shura to a banquet. The 9th demon god wants to invite Shura to dinner?" Su Qingfeng? Crazy, how could Shura go to see the 9th demon god? Going to a banquet alone could happen to Wuhan, or even to Xuemeng. Shura. Do not make jokes. Ye Bai thought so too. He stopped in front of Huo Tianyi and said extremely seriously, "Shura, be careful of fraud, don't go." Huo Tianyi. Mr. Ye, can you please have some face? Online games, only I can see hidden information. Author, Minjai Old Thief. Chapter 468. Shura, think twice. Ye Bai persuaded the other party with earnest words. Hungmen banquet, Xiangyu invites Lu Bang. Huo Tianyi looked confused and asked, "What is Hungmen banquet, who is Xiangyu, and who is Lu Bang?" After Ye Bai helped Xiao Huo do some simple historical science popularization, Huo Tianyi asked a key question. What did Lu Bang do next? Become emperor. Ye Bai was thoughtful. Going to a banquet. Huo Tian nodded. The 9th demon god is treating you to a guest, why don't you go? Okay. As expected of the strongest seed of our clan. Ye Bai gave Huo Tianyi a thumbs up and said with great pride, "When I go back, I will compile your deeds into poems and spread them throughout the world." With that said, Ye Bai turned around and was about to leave, while giving Su Qingfeng a look. "Why are you standing there? Get out. Are you really going to have a meal at the 9th demon god?" Shura went to the banquet alone, what did it have to do with Ye Bai? 36 strategies, walking is the best strategy. Su Qingfeng understood and was about to leave with Ye Bai. As for whether Huo Tianyi is dead or alive, don't worry. As long as old Huo Tianwang lives for a day, the 9th demon god will not dare to kill Huo Tianyi. Wait, you can't leave. The representative sent by the 9th demon god stopped Ye Bai and said seriously, "The Lord invites Shura to a banquet." "Who said I was Shura? He slandered me." As he said that, Ye Bai looked unkind and thought about how to get out of the predicament. The demon war god on the opposite side did not get in, but only killed a little bit, and wanted Ye Bai to attend the banquet. "Third master!" Ye Bai shouted softly, and a strong man covered in bones walked out of the shadow with a simple and honest face. The moment the strong man appeared, the monster blocking Ye Bai took a few steps back and knelt on the ground, his knees uncontrollably shaking. The monster's forehead was covered with sweat and he said tremblingly, "My master, didn't know you were here." It seems that his fear of Ying San is even more than his fear of Shura. This is the crushing from the life level. Among the demons, the oppression of the lower ones by the superior ones is endless. Ying San didn't seem to hear his words, but looked at Ye Bai and said seriously, "He doesn't know you are Shura, and he doesn't intend to kill you, so I can't kill him." Okay, this is very good. Ye Bai thought for a while and followed Ying San's words. "If the 9th demon god wants to kill me, I will escape with you." The escape in Ying San's words may be different from what most people understand. The escape of a normal person, escape from a desperate situation with great efforts. Third Master Ying's escape, beat the enemy to death and leave the door openly. With Third Master Ying's assurance, Ye Bai felt a little more at ease. Checked his cards. There's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with Huangji. After everything was checked, Ye Bai looked at Huo Tianyi and asked seriously, "If the 9th demon god wants to kill me, Can I survive if I hide in my own exclusive space? Huo Tian nodded. Able. One thing to say, it really works. After receiving double protection, Ye Bai nodded slightly. Surrounded by tens of millions of demonic waves, the ninth demon god takes the initiative to invite. In fact, Ye Bai didn't have much choice in the opponent's territory. Now it seems that the ninth demon god's demon emperor's palace is a dragon's pool and a tiger's den, and it has to be broken into. Walk. Ye Bai patted Huo Tianyi on the shoulder. Xiao Huo, let me show you how your brother Xiu went to the meeting alone. That's right. Shura is me, I am Shura. Ye Bai is angry again. Huo Tianyi. He never wanted to act with Shura again. I can't afford to lose this guy. The ninth abyss, Demon Emperor's palace. The tens of millions of demonic waves escorted Ye Bai and others to the Demon King's palace. Dear guest, please stay here and wait a moment. The demon representative was very polite. I'll go and report to my master. With that said, he strode into the Demon King's palace, countless demonic energy rolled around, and his figure disappeared in front of everyone. Taking this opportunity, Ye Bai was also looking at the Demon Emperor's palace. He had seen the Demon Emperor's palace before. The Demon King's palace of the great demon god was smashed to pieces by King Huo Tian and turned into ruins. The Demon King's palace of the fifth demon god is majestic, but it has not been repaired for many years and looks a bit shabby. Unlike the fifth demon god, the Demon Emperor's palace of the ninth demon god is smaller in scale, but more exquisite. Various details are more in place, and in many places, Ye Bai can even see the shadow of the human race's architectural style. Not only that, this Demon Emperor's palace is also a terrifying war fortress. There are many killing weapons on the human defense line, but there are only a lot more here in the Demon Emperor's palace. And thanks to the ninth demon god's years of work, the Demon Emperor's palace is his absolute home. Although it is only level 996. However, in the Demon King's palace, as long as it does not exceed level 1000, it cannot pose a life threat to him. At the same time, inside the Demon Emperor's palace, the monster knelt down deep in the hall and reported truthfully what he saw and heard. The dark wind gusts, making people shudder. This is the Juyi Laughter Palace. The sounds of their laughter were exactly the same, but the rhythm was different. Countless demonic sounds echoed in the Demon Emperor's palace. Just as Ye Bai was making up a mission, impossible blockbuster, the monsters in the entire Demon King's palace laughed out loud almost simultaneously. The existence on the throne, the level 996 demon spoke hoarsely. Su Qingfeng wanted to say that he actually didn't know why he was here. Open the door to welcome guests. Let the little ones be more hospitable. Yingju, you are so brave. Before Ye Bai and others entered the Demon Emperor's palace, there was a sound coming from it. Where is the Demon Emperor's palace? After the connection, the two sides cooperated internally and externally, and jointly killed the ninth demon? Is the undercover agent arranged by Master Ju ready to contact him? There was irrepressible anger in the calm voice. Obviously, the ninth demon god has a score to settle with Shadow 3. It's so funny that I can't find the secret code for the undercover agent. Is this a code? If you can go back alive, wouldn't you have bragging rights again? Squeak. Countless powerful monsters were sitting in the hall, all looking out, their eyes falling on the three of them, staring eagerly. Jajja. Ye Bai fell into deep thought. Jajja. Listening to the laughter in the Demon Emperor's palace, Ye Bai's expression did not change, and his heartbeat did not speed up at all. Clear. His heart is far from as calm as he appears on the surface. Did you really see him? Jajja. Anyway, he's here. After listening to the report from my subordinates. Absolutely true. The gate of the Demon Emperor's palace, which was 100 meters away, slowly opened. The ninth demon god gradually calmed down and said coldly. After so many years of searching, I never expected that the other party would be hidden in the shadow. The god on the throne was silent. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Online games, only I can see hidden information. Author, Minjaya Old Thief. Chapter 469. The Ninth Abyss, Demon Emperor's Palace. Jajaja. The devilish laughter still echoed in the hall. Yeb, I never expected that he would be given a surprise as soon as they met. It can't be that these monsters are all undercover, right? Yeb shook his head and denied this ridiculous idea. I can only find other ways to confirm. Yeb winked at Huo Tianyi and signaled him to activate his passive skills. Huo Tian understood the idea wholeheartedly, walked to the nearest monster, and cursed coldly. Laughing at your father. Gee. The war god level monster immediately stopped laughing and remained silent. Huo Tian frowned and said viciously. Smile, why the hell aren't you smiling? Monster. Soon, he was forced to laugh again. Huo Tian glanced at Yebai, and after receiving a reply, he let go of the unfortunate guy in front of him. Yebai shook his head slightly. The worst situation appeared. That's how monsters laugh. On the bright side, the code is more concealed and the undercover agent is safer. Thinking about the worst, Yebai couldn't find an undercover agent at all. Ever since I heard the monster's laughter, the Eye of Insight has activated its few functions. Visualize all the laughter, and then try to match it with Master Ju's secret codes, but none of them match. Everyone stepped onto the black carpet, filled with smoke and evil spirits, surrounded by enemies. Even though Su Qingfeng has been famous for many years, he rarely sees such battles. After passing through the main hall, the three of them came to a huge high platform. On the high platform, there is a throne. The ninth demon god has been waiting for a long time. A hoarse voice echoed in the air. You came. There was anger in his voice. In the shadows, an extremely terrifying and hideous face appeared, indescribably ugly. This demon looks too demonic. However, this is not Yebai's focus. He clearly saw. A terrifying scar started from the forehead of the ninth demon god and spread all the way to the stomach. It's hard to imagine what kind of existence could inflict such heavy damage on the ninth demon god. This scar is 40 meters long. I can only hint so far. My advice is, run. 40 meters long scar. Yebai looked at his own shadow, swallowed, and had a bad suspicion in his heart. Third Master Ying seemed to have guessed Yebai's thoughts and nodded. Yes, it was this melon coward that Master Ju chopped down back then. Yebai. Third Master, you should have told me earlier. You said so early that you had a grudge against the ninth demon god? Even if Su Qingfeng is beaten to death, Yebai will not come to the demon emperor's palace. It's over, Barbie is Q. Just when Yebai and his party met with the ninth demon god, the Blood Marine Regiment also arrived at the designated location according to the original plan. It's about to start, are you nervous? The leader of the Blood Navy looked at Zhang Yun with firm eyes, full of appreciation and trust. You are Zhang Ziyuan's son. If your father knew that you could be where you are today, he would definitely be pleased. Zhang Yun was a little surprised. He originally thought that his father was just an ordinary soldier of the Blood Marine Corps. When people from the 5th Demon Cult contacted him, Zhang Yun didn't know who to trust. Desperate, he could only take out his father's relics, use the dead horse as a living horse doctor, and try his luck in the Bloody Navy. What he never expected was that the Blood Marine Corps would defy all odds and fully support him. At this time, he went deep alone, came to the weak point of the passage, and opened the two-world passage for him. Zhang Yun had thin lips and a cold temperament. At this moment, he couldn't help but ask. You know my father. More than just acquaintance, he saved my life. Without him, I would have died. The leader of the Blood Navy stopped talking, patted Jong Yun on the shoulder, and said helplessly. The specific matter is too involved, and is even related to the old group leader. I will tell you when the time is right. The old regiment commander refers to the only regiment commander who died in battle in the history of the Blood Marine Corps. Get ready, it's your turn soon. After saying that, he hurriedly left, leaving Jong Yun alone. Jong Yun narrowed his eyes slightly and lowered his head to look down. A medal of the Blood Marine Corps lay quietly in his palm. Jong Yun kept flipping the medal over, with one side red and the other black. In just one day, everyone in the Blood Marine Corps treated Jong Yun like a family member. Everyone gave him absolute trust, encouragement, care, and support. Jong Yun seemed to have found his second home here. The medal on his fingertips couldn't give him the answer. Before he could be proud for too long, life gave him a heavy blow, and he lost to the sea-level talent Yebai in the summer camp qualifying competition. Two choices, two lives. Hell and heaven, just a thought away. If you choose to betray the human race and stay in the fifth abyss. In fact, just before stepping into the teleportation array, Jong Yun was still confused and had not yet made a decision. He reached the sky in one step and became a very important figure in both the human race and the demon race. Where was all this care when my mother died of depression in the hospital? The ups and downs of the past month seemed to be more exciting than in this life. Why did his father die? Jong Yun nodded but did not answer. After his mother left, he became an orphan. Jong Yun will make great contributions to the human race and receive a reward. In the future, he will become a member of the Blood Navy Regiment. He does not know when he will die on the Abyss battlefield. 21 days ago, a teacher named Xiao had a word with Jong Yun when he was dying. Jong Yun seemed to hear a familiar voice in his ears. He swept past his peers in Nanjiang City and returned to the summer camp. If you return to the teleportation array. He had many questions to ask the other party, and many doubts remained unanswered. This kind of multiple choice question is a bit too early for him who is over 18 years old. He will become the leader of the fifth demon cult, and the demon god will help him become the god of war, and is even willing to share the origin of the fifth abyss with him. Why is all this happening? Until this moment, Jong Yun was completely confused. Study well and be a good person. Not just Jong Yun himself. Jong Yun, get ready. Many strong men in the Legion did not believe that Jong Yun could resist this temptation. Someone called his name, and a war god warned. This is not the fifth demon god's empty talk, but a promise that can be fulfilled. The tests and temptations are real, and it is precisely because they are real that the choice is so difficult. As soon as the channel is successfully opened, you will be transported to the fifth abyss and return as quickly as possible. Do you understand? Living on the monthly stipend, living in an empty room with 2 bedrooms and 1 living room, spending long and difficult nights one after another. The moment the light of the teleportation array lights up. Until his talent awakened, he seemed to see a new light with his A-level talent. The shadows on the soles of his feet couldn't give him an answer. Jong Yun managed to hold on. Online games, only I can see hidden information. Author, Minjai Old Thief. Chapter 470. The moment Jong Yun stepped into the teleportation array, he made a decision. Teacher Xiao's voice and appearance are still there. Jong Yun has disappointed many people in his life and has disappointed many people. This time, he couldn't let Teacher Xiao down. In this life, there will be many misunderstandings. There is an illusion called, thinking that one has the power to choose. In fact, in the face of fate, not everyone has a choice. After Jong Yun was teleported to the fifth abyss, the passage between the two realms opened behind him, and countless monsters poured into it. As for Jong Yun, he was caught by a demon war god and thrown aside without any resistance. Any means prepared in advance were of no use at this moment. Zhang Yun is like a rag, throw it away after use. Falling into the demonic tide, being overwhelmed by monsters, Zhang Yun, who only had the strength of a warrior, even struggled seemed a bit ridiculous. Holding the knife in one hand, a ridiculous question flashed through Zhang Yun's mind. If he had it to do over again, could he defeat Ye Bai? While he was thinking, an extremely ferocious monster roared and rushed up, trying to tear him into pieces. Brush. A black shadow flashed before Zhang Yun's eyes, and the monsters within 10 meters were instantly strangled. A shadow with a fierce face and red eyes protected Zhang Yun. The last general, Wang San. The shadow with a blurry face turned back and glanced at Zhang Yun coldly, his eyes full of evil intent. It seems that this shadow's mind is not very bright. But Zhang Yun felt that this vague face seemed a bit familiar. With red eyes and shadows, he hesitated and said vaguely. According to Yingzhu's order, I will protect our clan, the lone wolf. A bloody long knife blocked all the monsters, and countless swords were slashed out, giving Zhang Yun a brief moment of peace. As for Shadow King 3, while killing the enemy, he only knew how to repeat one sentence mechanically. A lone shadow will never die, a lone wolf will never be destroyed. The Ninth Abyss, Demon Emperor's Palace. Ye Bai and others are still confronting the ninth demon god. Obviously, Ying San and the ninth demon god have a score to settle. Your name is Ying San now? No wonder, last time I saw you, I always felt a little familiar. Before. In the Demon Emperor's palace of the second demon god, many of the demon god's projections have seen Ying San. It's just that projection was used at that time, and the power that could be mobilized was limited, so it was impossible to see through the opponent's true identity. But the current situation is different. Ying San took the initiative to come to the home court of the ninth demon god and appeared in front of him. The true identity cannot be concealed. Shadow 3, Shadow 3. The ninth demon god snorted coldly and said contemptuously. Over the years, the more you live, the more you go back. In response to the provocation of the ninth demon god, Ying San looked dull, said nothing, and even yawned. After mocking Ying San, the ninth demon god looked at Ye Bai and said with slight surprise. Why would Yingzhu send Ying 3 to protect you? Ye Bai was very frank, if you tell me, can I get some money in exchange? Cannot. The ninth demon god shook his head. The demonic energy on the throne kept rolling, gradually gathering and gathering into a ball. From the center of the demonic aura, a young man wearing black python robe walked out. He was not tall and had a scar on his face. After the ninth demon god transformed into a human form, he walked down from the high platform and walked toward the crowd. With every step he took, the pressure doubled. The monsters in the hall had begun to crawl on the ground, trembling. Only 3 of them were still standing still. When the ninth demon god was still 9 steps away from Ye Bai, Ying San suddenly spoke. That's it? This distance is a safe distance that Ying San is sure of. If the ninth demon god moves forward, Ying San will not be able to protect Shura. The ninth devil grinned. So you are also afraid? Did you eat it? Ye Bai said seriously. If there's nothing else, we'll go back first. The ninth demon god has also been seen, and it's time to leave. No matter how late it is, it will be your own seat. Ye Bai was very good at saving his life. The ninth demon god waved his hand and Feng Qingyun said calmly. Don't worry, this good show has just begun. Fifth brother is coming soon. There is no difference between you staying here and outside. The fifth demon god has no interest in the ninth demon god. His goal, from beginning to end, is Shura. The same goes for the group of monsters from the abyss. Ye Bai looked at Ying San, who nodded, agreeing with the ninth demon god's statement. What else is there to say? Open up? Just when Ye Bai was about to show off, Ying San spoke again. Fourth Master, Ying Si is back. Previously, Ying Si was sent by Ye Bai to investigate an incident. Now it seems there is a result. Ye Bai smiled helplessly and said, "If I shake fourth brother over, won't I get an extra head?" Oh. Ying San was thoughtful, raised his right hand, and punched the empty space. The void burst, and the space was easily shattered. This move alone made the ninth demon god extremely fearful. "I haven't seen you for so many years, but you are still the darling of the abyss." The moment when Ying San is at his strongest is when he is in the abyss. On the other side of the broken space, Shadow 4 appeared. The two shadows faced each other, and the third shadow repeated. Fourth Master said, "Don't come over." After saying that, Ying San will close the space channel. Wait a moment. Ye Bai quickly stopped the third master. "I've already paid the phone bill. Isn't it a waste to chat for such a short time? Long distance calls are very expensive. It costs so much to play for 1 second, and it costs the same for 59 seconds. Before the passage was closed, Ye Bai asked anxiously, "Fourth brother, what are the results of the investigation?" "Yingxi's work is extremely reliable." "Well, Zhang Ziyuan is not in Shadow Castle, and his documents are also forged." "Documents can be forged and memories modified. However, as long as you investigate carefully, you can always find clues. Moreover, Ying Si is also a master among them, and he found out many clues in just one day. Zhang Ziyuan is Zhang Yun's father. According to the records in the file, he was originally a warrior who died in the bloody abyss. After turning into a shadow, he performed a protection mission for a period of time. Because his obsession was too weak, he was forced to fall into a deep sleep." Ying Si said truthfully. "I retrieved the files of Wanwu Pavilion and compared the results and found that Zhang Ziyuan did not die in the Battle of the Bloody Abyss. The cause of death is unknown." Ye Bai frowned. The cause of death was unknown? The call time was limited, so Ye Bai could only put his questions in his stomach and continue to ask. "Anything else?" "Zhang Ziyuan performed well in shadow and was at the forefront of the King of War when he was at his strongest." Ying Si paused and continued. "Before falling asleep, he had already begun to transform into a blood shadow." "Blood shadow?" Ye Bai remembered that Ying Si once told him. "Many shadows cannot adapt to the identity of shadows, lack of obsession, and will fall out of control. This kind of loss of control is also called the blood shadow. If it sinks completely, it will become a monster that only knows killing and destruction, and will never regain its sanity." Ye Bai asked the last question. "What was Zhang Ziyuan's rank among the war kings before his transformation?" "Third." Ying Si said in a deep voice. "The third king of war is also known as the third king." "Ah!" Ye Bai sneered at himself, with a cold expression on his face, and said coldly. "Half a day ago, Shadow 10 sent me a message to protect Zhang Yun's shadow, calling himself Wang San. Juju, is this also part of your plan?"